Hello, and welcome to the Don't Tell This podcast, a sports betting podcast that has now officially become a Cam Skattebo Stan account. I'm your host, Al Manarino. With me is my co-host and fellow Philly hater, it's Mr. Ben Murkison. Ben, what's up?
What is up? Could not happen to a greater group of individuals. Yeah, I'm excited for you. I told you I was on your side. I didn't necessarily have any confidence that the Giants would come off and win that game last night after their performance against the Saints. But hey, yes, Skattebo is a dog. And Dart was also leading with his helmet. So it was a great day for you.
I'm in love with this team, with these rookies at least.
They're a lot of fun, man. They were a lot of fun.
They are a ton of fun. Ton of fun. Lost all my bets last night. Didn't even get a chance to watch the game. I was at a screening of One Battle After Another, which is a fantastic movie. We don't do enough pop culture recommendations on this podcast, but if you haven't seen it already, it is masterful. So go check that out.
One battle after another, exactly what your voice is going through.
Exactly, and basically what the Giants season is going to be for the rest of the year. One battle after another. But yeah, so Thursday Night Football, we lost.
Yes.
You want to go through those picks?
I mean, do we have to really go through those picks? We had a lot of stuff that we threw out as possible options, and again, we chose poorly. We can start off with just essentially like Skattebo had an amazing game. I think moving forward, maybe his rushing line is the way to go. He had been hitting his over receiving, but that was not necessary yesterday. Therefore, he did not fell short of that one. As did Saquon Barkley. Neither guy really used much in the receiving game. We decided to go with an Eagles wide receiver, Devontae Smith. That was the wrong choice. A.J. Brown decided to make his big appearance. The only one that we got correct was Jackson Dart because he was darting all over the field. Tons of run for him. He easily exceeded his rushing line. But that was it. That was the only success that we had. It was rough out there. I will stand by that. I did love Jahan Dotson at a spot. I took him for a couple of ladder bets that did not actually work out, but he did easily go over his 10 yards or whatever his line was. But that was one of the only successful things that we really threw.
Yeah, before we get into our very, very juicy 1 p.m., 4 p.m., 8 p.m. Monday Night Football slate of parlays, I do want to nominate a player to be added to the Never Again list.
This is exciting. I'm not the only one now. Al's got a guy he hates.
Saquon Barkley. Now, I'm a full-on hater, right? I'm a Giants fan. But really, it wasn't Barkley's fault that he left in the sense that, the Giants really didn't do much to keep him there. And I can't imagine a world where he would have stayed, last season. He literally won a Super Bowl, broke records, has a documentary now on Prime Video, all that. However, this season's not been great for him. Clearly, this season has not been great for the Eagles. The record really doesn't show the production of this team. Like you just said, A.J. Brown finally had a good game. He's had 2 good games this season. He is their wide receiver 1. He should be having 100-yard games every week. He is not. Devonta Smith is underperforming too. And then Barkley as well. His rushing line, I don't think he's hit it. It looked like in the beginning of the game he was going to destroy us in the run game, but it just didn't.
2 big carries early and then
being that
stuffed.
Way.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I'm going to put him on my Never Again list. There are way too many players that have been doing well for us this season. He's already missed, I believe, twice now with his receiving line. And even if he hit already, I just don't really trust this team. Like I said last week with Arizona and the episode prior with Arizona and before that with Vegas, I am going to run out of teams if I'm going to just stop saying some of these players. But a lot of these teams just don't have continuity, right?
Yeah,
even with the Giants, we have been the continuity is there with the Dart and with Skattebo in some capacity. Skattebo didn't hit his receiving line, but he had almost 100 rushing yards and 3 touchdowns. So yeah, I'm going to keep going with Skattebo. I don't like this Philly team as is right now.
Yeah, no, I mean 100% support that. We've tried to throw a couple of their players in lines, and yeah, their offense is inconsistent. I mean, it's the tush push to them. I mean, that's the only thing that you can really count on, for them. They're going to run that every game, but outside of that, they're having trouble with the passing game, and their run game hasn't been there. They're a good team. They just haven't quite figured it out, and that doesn't bode well for trying to pick parlays, throw their guys in there. So yeah,
good time to bet them to win the Super Bowl because this is the same spot they were in last year, right? Where people were like, I don't know, this team's weird. They're 2-2. They should be so much better, blah, blah, blah. And everyone wrote them off and then they won the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of exactly like that, and there was the same thing with, unhappy wide receiver talk and, maybe they should trade somebody, the coach is pissed off, like, it's just a lot of that, so, yeah, I mean, fully possible that they go through and right the ship, right after this, so, yeah, like you said, definitely a good time to throw in some futures bets right now.
Yeah. But as of right now, Saquon, you are now on the never again list. Moving on to 1 p.m. this Sunday, week 6. I'll let you start. Who is your first pick for our potential parlay?
Well, since we're talking about never again, we should go with one of our always again guys. We've, I think, utilized him every single week, and he has yet to fail us. I mean, Puka Nakua over receptions. I don't know why we keep saying it. Like, when is it going to get to be double digits as like the line? And it still hasn't moved there yet. 8.5. 8.5 is just, it's an automatic play. I don't know how you avoid hidden line. He's going to go over it. I have full trust and faith that he's going to continue to go over 8.5. So until he gets to double digits, I'm not even going to think twice. Puka Nakua.
Yeah, he was on my list as well. I feel like we're going to get to a point where like his line's only 11.5. We have to hit it. Like it's going to be a smash play. Like it's crazy. He is their whole offense. Like there's not a lot left to say about you know, adding him to our parlay. It's kind of like it's almost a free leg at this point. I know this week he'll hit 8 or he'll get hurt, which will be awful because he is the best wide receiver in the league. But as of right now, we're not going to skip adding him to a parlay.
Yeah, I mean, the only concern is like they're playing the Ravens, who are atrocious right now. So you run into that risk of like they're doing so well, they just bench everybody by the fourth quarter. But he's
Yeah.
usually hitting his line by halftime. So that's the reason that I'm still like, screw it. You can still put him out there and feel confident.
Absolutely. I'm going to go to my first bet. I'm going to do a repeat. A lot of these are repeats, and we're going to start seeing a lot of those during the season. It's just like, all right, they're performing really well for us. Let's keep using them. It's really when they start like missing a bunch of weeks in a row where we start dropping them off. A lot of rookies have been impressing us. We'll talk about another rookie in the 4 o'clock slate that we're going to probably be in autoplay until further notice. But one that I really like is Quinshawn Junkins over 10.5 receiving yards. Um, the Browns now have a new quarterback, Dylan Gabriel, who apparently doesn't run,
Yeah, no
according
running.
to Ben. No running allowed. And yeah, I mean it's a very hodgepodge kind of receiving core. On paper, it looks kind of good, but in reality, it's not the best. I was looking at Njoku. I think he's also a good play, but Judkins only being 10.5, he could knock that out in one, maybe two catches. You can even look at his receptions line if you want to lean towards that. But I think at 10.5, he can easily clear that.
He's a heck of a player, really good running back. I would play his over rushing line like it's still an option for me, but I agree like his line's maybe a little bit high. So I could see playing the receiving line too. It's some of those players like he's a playmaker. You want to get the ball to him. I'm a little hesitant, I will say, especially after last night, to play any running back receiving lines. So gives me a little bit of pause there, but but yeah, I do trust Judkins. So yeah, not a bad look. So for my next pick, I'm gonna go with somebody that kind of broke out. Obviously, he's a name that everybody's familiar with, but he broke out a little bit last week in a spot start. Kind of unexpectedly, Jalen Warren didn't play, so insert Kenneth Gainwell as a running back. Last week, he had 19 carries for 99 yards for Pittsburgh. His line is only at 24.5 because obviously Jalen Warren's going to be back this week. So I expect it to be, still Jalen Warren's backfield, but probably a little bit closer maybe to a 50-50 split. It's kind of hard to take a guy off the field after he gave that type of performance. So I trust that they would keep him involved. So 24.5 is the line, and I think that that's one that he could still go through and exceed, even if he only ends up getting 6, 7, 8 carries. He could, again, I know how much you love being able to break one and get, kind of a one-hit wonder right there. And so he could do that. He could get 24.5 in one play.
Yeah, so you're gonna hate my response to that with saying my next pick is Jalen Warren over 18.5 receiving yards. So
I'm gonna hate it
Warren
because
is a
it's
huge
another running back receiving line, more
I
so
know.
than just the name.
Yeah, Warren is a big part of that offense from his receiving game, honestly. Like if you look at his first 3 weeks, rushing 37, 48, 47, really nothing to like write home about. no touchdowns in the rushing game, receiving 22, 86, 34. And if you look at what Gainwell did in his absence, he had another 30 plus receiving yards. So if Warren's coming back and he's fully healthy, I think 18.5 is very obtainable, mostly because he's never gone under that number this season thus far.
Very attainable considering it's always been attained. Yeah. No, I mean, it makes
That's
sense.
right.
You can't argue with just simple math.
That's right.
Simply can't argue with my next pick. Actually, you can, but he's somebody that's kind of emerging as a favorite target for Drake May in that Patriots offense. Kayshon Boutte, he's somebody that's emerged as a favorite target for Drake May in this emergent Patriots offense, at least as of last week, with their big win over the Bills. But his line is set at 26.5 yards receiving. He had 3 catches off of 3 targets for 43 yards last week. He's been targeted at least 3 times each of the last 3 weeks, but I feel like he's somebody that's just gonna be kind of that reliable option outside of Stephon Diggs. I'd love to go back to the Diggs well, but looking at a little bit lower line for, confidence level within that receiving game as they, kind of move on into this week. But Moody's somebody that we've played, I think, twice, and he's hit for us twice. So another one I kind of want to go back to and just see how consistent he can be.
Yeah, I like the pick. Booty's been very solid. Booty rocking everywhere, and he truly is.
Nice. I like that.
Thank you.
It helps that they're going up against the Saints too. It's a game that I
Oh my
think that
God.
they can,
Yeah.
outside of obviously your Giants being like a fluke, I think Spencer Rattler's going to be riding high, and yeah, the
Mhm.
Patriots can kind of keep him crashing back down to earth.
A true reality check game for either of these teams, honestly. It could go either way, but I think Booty at 26.5 is a solid line. I was also looking at Rashid Shaheed for this game too, because he had a great game last week. And he was like the one pick that you didn't do that I thought you would have. You picked Jawan Johnson over him in another parlay that we were talking about. It should have been, if it was Shaheed, we would have crushed that one as well. But
Thanks for bringing
yeah.
that up, Al.
Oh, no problem. I got you. All right. So for my final pick, and I believe you may have the same pick, it is Darren Waller over 36.5 receiving yards. Because once you leave the Giants, you become awesome. And apparently Waller has abandoned his rap career. He has gotten back in shape. I think he worked through some mental health issues. I mean, he was with Kelsey Plum and dropped the bag on that one. So I think he is a little more right in the mind at this moment in time. 36.5 seems low for the way that they're using him. He's kind of their wide receiver 2 now, with Tyreek Hill out for the season and Waddle stepping in Hill's place. Waller's like the veteran presence there, and 36.5 seems pretty obtainable given that he's going to get a lot of looks his way.
Yeah, I mean, Darren Waller surprised both of us. I mean, I heard a lot of positive things coming just from, I guess, the people that were watching him practice, and kind of like that the Dolphins love some gimmicky stuff, and they wanted to get a guy like him involved. And I mean, yeah, when he was at his best, he was very, very good at tight end position. A little bit, there's some concern, I guess, that he's questionable right now, but he was limited in practice yesterday. But I feel like that's more of a veteran kind of rest designation, other than like the hip that they kind of list him at. I have full confidence he's going to go through and play in that game, and as long as he plays, I do think 36.5 is a very attainable line for him again.
All right, so that's our picks for 1 p.m. What do you like out of here? And is there anything that you wanted to maybe mention that didn't come up yet? Any other lines that you really loved?
Well, that's what was funny is like we were going through and try to make our picks, and we each, said we have like 15 things that we were kind of interested in from the 1 p.m. slate. There's a couple of names that we've gone with that have succeeded for us in the past. I mean, I looked at JSN. I know you like his receptions line. I think I liked his yards line. Travis Etienne Jr. over 61.5 rushing. We were kind of both interested in. I mean, he's somebody that last game, I feel like the Jaguars went away from him. If they had stuck with the run, I feel like he would have easily exceeded that line. So that's a name I don't necessarily hate if we wanted to, audible and throw him in there, or JSN, because they've both been really successful for us. Um, I think if we're talking about the guys that we feel most confident in, I don't see how we don't put Puka Nakua in this parlay. So that's kind of the name that I would put right off the top if we're just going to lead things off with locking him in.
Yeah, I think you're right with Puka. I do like ETN. I was going to give him a kind of a bounce back game this week. I may include him in another parlay off of this podcast, but I don't think he's right for this just based off what happened last week with him. And I believe it's a short week too, right?
Yeah, it would be a short week riding high off for last week. But, I don't know. I feel like it was kind of a fluke that the Jags passing game went as well as it did because they've been relying on ETN. So maybe they'll kind of dip back down into to ETN and having him be the bell cow for that offense. But yeah,
Mhm.
I mean, totally fine if we don't, throw him in there right away.
You did mention JSN. I did want to mention that I did like his reception line at 6.5 over his like receiving line, like with every big top wide receiver one has become super inflated, right? I believe he went 2 weeks in a row where he didn't crack like 80 and then he had another 100 like last week or something, or like 132 or something crazy. Um, I think his receptions line at 6.5, which is also like plus money. um, I thought that was an interesting one to maybe poke at, but, I'd rather take Puka if we're gonna take a reception line.
Yeah, I mean, that's totally fine. Yeah, he is obviously the biggest part of that offense. He's had 8, 9, like, receptions, like, so there's been 2 weeks he's gone under that, and even on those weeks, he's had 96 and 70 yards receiving, so he's a super consistent wide receiver and yeah, definitely one that should always kinda look at, but, yeah, if we're gonna do a receptions line, then I'm fine with doing Puka. I think I would like to give you one of your 2 running back receiving lines, maybe not double down on both of them because we know how doubling down on running back receiving lines tends to go. So,
I'm
would
gonna
you
go
feel
War
more
I'm gonna
okay.
go Warren because I'm gonna go with the consistency. It's part of the script. He's crushed it, kind of, that line. I think outside of week 1 where he had 22. I know he's coming back from injury. I know they have Gainwell. There's a lot of ifs and stuff, but I think it's maybe a little too early to figure out like what the Browns' offensive scheme is with Gabriel just off the one game. So maybe just holding back on Judkins and focusing on Warren.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Browns' scheme with Dylan Gabriel quarterback is just to try to run Judkins as often as possible. 23 carries in that first game. And yeah, he's used in the passing game, but not as consistently. I mean, he only had 1 catch last week. So yeah, I'm fine with going with Warren, somebody that's more proven. I think despite the injury, designation as of right now, I feel confident that Darren Waller is going to play. So if you want to go with the Walrus here, I think over 36 and a half.
I love that.
Yeah.
The Walrus.
Yeah, let's go with the Walrus. I think that he's a safe play. The Dolphins are beyond desperate at this point, so
Yep.
they're gonna try to lean into any advantage they can have, and not a lot of people can match up well against Darren Waller.
So does that leave the booty?
If we both like the booty, then I think we could throw the booty in. I mean, I do like my Kenneth Gainwell over rushing line, but he is like technically an RB2, really only, shown it 1 week when he had to start. So if he goes over that line again, then I'll feel really good going back to him if they kind of keep him in that 20 range. But yeah, booty, I feel good about too.
All right. His line's actually a little lower than we looked, I guess, initially. Oh no, it's a little higher. So we have Puka Nakua over 8.5 receptions. We have Darren Waller over 36.5 receiving yards. Jalen Warren over 18.5 receiving yards. And K. Sean Booty rocking everywhere over 27.5 receiving yards. So one more yard. That is a 4-pick parlay on DraftKings at plus 1327, $20 to win 285.47.
Love that. If booty does hit for us again, then we need to get a drop for him where we do that booty
Yes,
rocking everywhere.
100%.
Like that's
I will
he will earn that
definitely edit that in.
designation. He'll definitely need that designation. All right,
Absolutely.
sweet. 4 PM slate. I think neither of us had 15 lines that we liked for this one, but
I know.
I did come down with 4 that I was especially interested in, 3 of which are names that we use pretty much consistently week over week. I can start with one kind of similar to what we did with Puka, where I don't think we need to say too much other than like he's just an automatic play. CMC over 49.5 receiving yards. He's eclipsed that. Let me check the notes every single game. And only one time was it even like close. I don't think really have to say much else. Like until he fails us, CMC over receiving is just an automatic.
Yeah. You treat all the other receiving running backs as like a caution, but when it comes
Yeah.
to CMC, you're like, "No, it's fine. He's great."
It's green light. It's just a green light for CMC
Every
receiving.
time.
Yeah.
Yep. Love that. It is one of my picks as well. And then we already discussed another auto play, Ibuka over 71.5 receiving yards. This guy is having a absolute monster season. He is the clear front runner right now for rookie of the year. The only one who probably can challenge him is potentially 2 giants, Skattebo and Dart, which is crazy to think about. It was kind of a pipe dream to see either of those names in the top 10, top 15, top 20, in terms of odds for rookie of the year, and now I think Dart is, like, 2nd or 3rd favorite last time I checked, which is bananas. But going back to Ibuka, Baker slinging it to him. He's completely replaced Evans, who is out on injury. Godwin is there, in that facilitator role, but like it's really Ibuka and the rest. And I see this as now a Puka Nakua style auto play. I don't care what the receiving yards are. He's going to smash them.
Yeah, I mean, and the lines are getting a little bit bigger, but that's for good reason. I mean, the absolute tear, like you mentioned, 85, 101, and then 163 the last 3 games. Uh,
It's crazy.
Definitely feasting while Mike Evans is out. Godwin's also going to be out this week, I've seen. So he's the clear wide receiver one as if he wasn't already. The 49ers defense just gave up 389 yards through the air last week against the Rams with, both Devonta Adams and Puka Nakua going over 80. I think any team with good quarterback play can, have success against that 49ers defense. And Baker Mayfield is not even quietly, but he's having an MVP caliber type season. He's on a little campaign right now, where, I love kind of the story. It was already there like last year, but Baker Mayfield kind of coming from like obscurity, after leaving the Browns and just kind of bouncing around a little bit to what he's doing now. But good for him. Yeah, I love him as a player. He's kind of got a lot of that like Jackson Dart on the field, style energy. So yeah, I think Ibuka is an auto play, like you said. So those two I think are easy locks.
Yeah, agreed.
I've got another guy that is not necessarily a lock, and there's question marks, but he's somebody that we've trusted and he's come through, and then we've also trusted and he's not had success. But it is Jamar Chase for me. I want to try to go back to Chase. Maybe we're chasing here, but over 62.5 receiving yards. So Joe Flacco is coming in. We were begging the Bengals to make a switch at quarterback. Joe Flacco is maybe like third on the list of like who I would have thought potentially going over. I think it's a little comical that the Bengals saw what he had done. He's had 6 interceptions, just 2 touchdowns. He's only thrown for 200 yards in the first game, which was the opening loss that they had to the Bengals. He was pretty atrocious like the rest of the season, which is why the Browns moved on to Dylan Gabriel. So it's a little weird to me that Flacco's the guy that they brought in and they're having faith to just throw him out there as a start week 1. Like, what kind of system are they gonna have in place for him? Like, how much is he really gonna know about that offense, to go through and try to compete right off the bat? Those types of things are question marks, but then they're also would signal to me that if you're coming in, you're like a veteran. What else are you going to do except for go through and target your wide receiver one, which is clearly Jamar Chase in this offense. One thing that Flacco did do in all of his starts on the year was target his wide receiver one, Jerry Judy. So I feel like that'll be his game plan here too, is to just try to scheme up some things with Jamar Chase. I'm sure they've been working on it in practice, some routes that they love. So I like Chase as an option here to see if they have some success. He only missed, I think, his receiving line the one time in that, poor game, even like last week. He was able to go through and hit. So despite the new quarterback, despite everything that we mentioned, I think Chase is somebody that we could trust because Flacco is going to have no other option but to just trust him in that offense week 1.
Yeah, he was the first name I put just because of the changing quarterback, someone who can actually throw the ball. Like Jake Browning looked horrendous these last few weeks, and it's almost like I know the offensive line isn't there. I know the defense isn't there. Obviously, it's not a big thing when you are on the offense, but the Bengals are kind of in shambles right now. They needed some sort of shakeup. It isn't the pick I would have done. I would have gave a first rounder for Jameis at this point just to like stop from your hands from Stop your fans from burning down the stadium because it's just getting that to that point, right? I know it's hyperbole. I wouldn't give a first round
Okay,
pick for
thank you.
Jameis.
Just wanted to clarify.
But I just thought that they had to make a move. They finally did. Browning is gone, thankfully, or is now the backup. And I don't know how long Flacco's going to last. He might get one sack from this Bengals
That's the
offensive
concern, man. Like,
line. It's bad.
they didn't think
It's
about
bad.
his health. Like, they got, like, one
No.
of the least mobile quarterbacks in the NFL to come in there and be a statue behind that offensive line that's terrible. Like, literally anybody you could have brought in needed to be someone mobile that can scramble and make something happen when the play breaks down because you're not gonna have more than, a couple seconds to make a decision. Again, which bodes well for, like, just chuck it, Jamar's down there somewhere type thing. That's kinda where the confidence lies, not at all in, like, Joe Flacco or that Bengals offense, but just that, like, Chase has got to be the guy that they just kinda throw it up to and hope for the best.
You know what line I do want to touch during this game? Tucker Kraft. Over 46.5 receiving yards. He is a monster. He is an actual beast. He's so good. And someone that I'm like really a big fan of. Someone I wish I had in fantasy that I don't. I don't know if he's an auto play, but he's starting to become one.
Yeah, I don't hate Kraft, so that's one that I could see. I do have another, tight end that I also love for the 4 p.m. slate. I'm gonna call him affectionately Chig. So yeah, gotta go with him. You got your hand up in the air right now. Like, is this one of your picks that you also love, or are you just surprised?
I'm surprised.
Yeah, Okonkwo. So Chig Okonkwo is what I'm gonna go with. You
Wow.
you love him, don't you? Okay, so over 26.5 receiving yards. He's gone over that line 3 out of 5 times this season, including 66 against the Colts and 48 last week in their win over the Cardinals. He's catching at least 3 balls a game from Cam Ward, and that's saying a lot because Cam Ward does not complete a lot of passes. The Raiders have given up as a defense 44 yards to our beloved Tyler Warren, 46 yards to Cole Kmet, and then 38 to Zach Ertz. So there's a positive trend of tight ends having success against the Raiders defense. I think Cam Ward is struggling in his rookie season. He's made a couple like incredible throws, but that's really been the highlight for him. I think he needs to go with somebody reliable, and in that case, that's Chig.
Yeah, I honestly didn't even look at this game because of how shitty it was. It's
True.
bad. Raiders are they're almost on my never again list. The one line that I was looking at just now from this game was Gianti over receiving, just because of how bad their receiving core is. It's looking like another week without Brock Bowers. Trey Tucker is maybe the most inconsistent wide receiver, or at least getting the most inconsistent from his quarterback. Like his line hilariously is 54, 12, 145, 13, 62. So if the trend is correct, bet the under this week on Trey Tucker because he only does it every other week.
Now you're smart with like your teams to avoid, like we talked about. The Eagles know they're inconsistent. The Cardinals know they're inconsistent. The Raiders know they're inconsistent. So yeah, we're not
That's
really
right.
touching any of those guys.
Exactly. So I thought you were going to go with another tight end.
Okay.
I thought you were going with Tongas Pongas.
Tongas.
Tongas Pongas, 35.5 receiving yards. I love Tongas. He's our guy.
He made me sweat it so much that I'm concerned to go right back to him. I think the CMC is, again, that's the automatic play for us. I think Egbuka has to be like an auto play for us. So the only question, beyond that, we need 2 other guys. Do we like the Jamar Chase idea that they're going to go through and get him the ball? Because that's why you bring Joe Flacco in. It's why you make a switch at quarterback to try to jumpstart the offense and get the ball to your playmaker. Do we trust Tongas Pongas more than we trust dear sweet Chig, that I love to affectionately refer to him as now, against the Raiders defense that tends to struggle against the tight ends? So what do we like?
CMC, it's a lock. Egbuka, a lock. I like your Chase idea. I'm gonna run with you on that one just because, again, like why do you not just let Browning die on the field and wait for Burrow to come back? Like you're bringing in someone to ignite the offense a little bit in some capacity. You got to get to your wide receiver one. I think Chase can hit 62.5, which is, considering it, kind of low for who we're talking about.
Yeah, I mean, you're definitely buying him at a value right now, and I'm not convinced, unfortunately, that Flacco is going to make it through that entire game. Like we could see Browning come back out there, but either one, is going to try to get the ball to Chase if they can.
Do you like Kraft over Chig?
I like Kraft. It's more just that what's Kraft's receiving line? I feel like it was
46.5.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit higher, which is the only thing that gave me pause. I do feel confident about Chig, just at 26.5 receiving yards is so low for a tight end and somebody that's, been so consistently used in that offense. In a game that should be tight, it's 1-4 Titans versus 1-4 Raiders. Like both teams are struggling. I don't know. I've got confidence in Chig.
All right. So I will back you on this. We have a 4-leg parlay going on right now, and I'm trying to build it. Okay, here we go.
Yeah,
So
we do.
we have CMC over 49.5 receiving yards, Emeka Egbuka over 71.5 receiving yards, Chig Okongwo over 27.5 receiving yards. And if he hits, I have to learn how to say his name.
That's a name we'll have to remember. Yeah.
And then Jamar Chase over 62.5 receiving yards. It is plus 1139 on Bet365 without any boost. And that would be 20 to win 247.83. Put this parlay in like maybe the morning of, and you'll get a nice boost. Usually Bet365 pretty good boosts. So that is 4 o'clock. Let's try to power through because we have a few more to get through. We have 8
2
p.m.
Monday Night Football games. Yeah.
Yeah, 2 Monday night, but we still have our Sunday night football game that we have to go through.
Yep. So for us leading things off Sunday Night Football, I'm going to say him before you say him because I know you're going to go with him. I'll let you wax poetic about your boy, but Jahmyr Gibbs, you will always continue to go back to Jahmyr Gibbs. I try to stay away as best I can from running back receiving lines outside of CMC, as we mentioned. This is typically your territory, but the Chiefs defense is willing to give up plays to running backs out of the passing game, and Gibbs is very capable of taking advantage. Obviously, we just saw Skattebo have 6 catches for 61. Justice Hill had 5 catches for 41. So the history is already there. And I know you love Gibbs. He's dynamic. So, yeah, why don't you tell me how much you love Jahmyr Gibbs in this matchup?
I don't know if there's any other like adjectives I have for him. I love him. I mean, he's incredible. He's a potential offensive player of the year candidate. He's just great. And as you mentioned already, the Chiefs are not perfect, right? They just lost to the Jaguars. There is some issues still within the team. They are not fully ready offensively and defensively. Obviously, they couldn't stop the dingus that is Trevor Lawrence. So yeah, I love that line. No arguments there. I'm going to stick to the same game because that is
Still the
what
game.
Sunday Night Football is, right? I'm going to
Let's
go.
get crazy. Let's go Monday night. Let's just
You
skip
know
ahead.
what? Let's go. I am going to go with David Montgomery over 43.5 rushing yards. The split backfield, I think they can run through this team, right? We obviously didn't see the Jaguars do it for reasons unknown against the Chiefs, but I have confidence in the Dan Campbell and this offense. You know, we love Gibbs. He hasn't been super explosive rushing. I think he has been more on the pass catching side of things, and I think Montgomery's the one who's going to just it will take 43 carries, but he's going to get 43.5 rushing yards.
Well, I don't think he's going to get 43 carries, Al.
It's hyperbole. It's hyperbole.
It's like trading a number 1 pick for Jameis Winston. I got you. I'm on to you.
Yep.
I'm going
Are
to take
you,
another
though?
line. Let's take another line that we love. It's Xavier Worthy over 5.5 rushing yards. We've talked about it. It's a 50-50 proposition. He's most likely going to get exactly 1 attempt, and he's either going to hit it or he's not going to hit it. Paid off last week for us, 9 yards. He was able to get off of that 1 carry. But I mean, if you're a gambler, which we obviously both are, you have to take 50-50 odds every single time. Yeah, Xavier Worthy over 5.5. Maybe they get crazy. Maybe they give him 2 carries. Who knows? But I'm willing to take that risk that Worthy's going to go through and make the first one count.
Yeah, I love the line, and the only reason I didn't say it as my first pick was because DraftKings did not have it available. So I love it, and just now that I'm on Bet365 on my phone, I see that line 5.5. Montgomery's line's also 2 yards less on Bet365 at 41.5. Makes me even want to hit it even harder.
I mean, I got to say, I love Bet365, so I would love to be a stand podcast for Bet365. Listen to this somehow down the line and sponsor us, guys.
That would
Big
be
fan here.
nice.
Big fan.
Big fan as well.
All right, so who else do you like from this matchup?
Yeah, The Chiefs seem to not be great against wide receivers, so I think we bite the bullet and finally bet on Amon-Ra St. Brown
Yeah.
at
He's
69.5.
he's one of my picks, so absolutely, I'm with you.
Yeah, last 4 weeks, 115, 77, 70, and 100. You can get him under 70 at Bet365. We saw some crazy passes from Trevor Lawrence that probably shouldn't have happened with, BTJ and, Travis Hunter
Travis Hunter, yeah.
kind of kind of destroying the Chiefs secondary. So Amon-Ra is one of the most consistent wide receivers in the league. I think it's time that we back him up a little bit.
Yeah,
Just
I mean,
because JMO has been such a disappointment for us this season.
dude, J-Mo's killing me in bets, which I don't even touch him anymore. But yeah, my fantasy team, I drafted way too much of him. But yeah, I mean, if you're talking about the most consistent, best wide receivers in football this season, obviously we mentioned Puka and Igbuka, but you've got to also mention St. Brown, with that too. You mentioned like his big games. And we've also seen the Chiefs, like you talked about, give up, huge games to Brian Thomas Jr., to Quentin Johnson, to Zay Flowers, essentially all wide receiver ones that exceeded, 70 yards against that Chiefs secondary. So I think you'll be able to add Amon-Ra St. Brown's name to that list after this game. So yeah, I'm totally fine with it. I see you found his line at 69.5. I saw him at 70.5, but either one I think is good to play.
Yeah. We don't have a lot of Chiefs. We're gonna have to just say the ones that we normally say. Kelsey over 45.5 receiving yards.
No.
So it's a no on that.
I just don't like Kelsey. Yeah, I think I've made my thoughts on
Last 2
Travis
weeks
Kelsey clear.
last 2 weeks he's hit 48 and 61. I know
Yeah.
it's not a one shot kind of done thing. Like the reason we love JMO going into the season is because last year he had so many big
Just need
passes.
one catch for like 60
One
yards. It was
catch.
good.
Exactly. Here's one that I'm considering. I do like Kelsey. I also kind of like Pacheco receiving. Just
Of course
because
you
they're
do.
using him more. They're using him and Hunt a little more. If you remember the Chiefs last year, they went to the Super Bowl. Just throwing that out there. Last year they had the Hunt P Ryan that they would throw to, and I would always put those lines in parlays as well because they were always like Mahomes would always like kind of check down to them. Pacheco last 2 weeks 13 and 20. Hunt 13 and 8. Hunt's line is 6.5. Pacheco is 9.5. They're not crazy lines. They're under 10.
Question for you, Al. When you go through and you start to build your parlays, do you immediately just go to receiving and then scroll past the wide receivers and look
Yeah.
at running backs? That's
100%.
like your first option.
100%. You know me
I feel
all
like-
too well.
I feel like it's gotta be. It's gotta be. See, I'm on the opposite side of that. I like to go through and look at the running backs for the job that they're paid to do primarily, which is run the football
No,
first.
because you're disappointed every time you look. It's like, oh, their line's 80, and then you're like, what'd they do last week? -5? How is that possible? It's depressing.
You could say that. I do, though, look at this, and I looked at Kareem Hunt, and he's somebody that I've been mentioning every single week. I think we've tried him a couple times, and he's hit. His line stays low. He's in a 50-50 split with Pacheco. Neither one is very successful running the football, but Kareem Hunt is a little bit more successful, at least in terms of hitting like his line. So 31.5. I've been on him all year. He has had 31 or more yards rushing the last 4 games, and the Lions' run defense is good, but not great. The Chiefs' offense, for it to work, that's the reason they keep going back to it despite not really having a ton of success on the ground. They need to be able to take, a little bit of pressure off of Mahomes, so they have to be able to run the football to keep the Lions defense honest, and allow Mahomes to go through and take those deep shots down the field, especially to Tyquan Thornton, who that is somebody I could not find any lines on. Is he injured, or like, what's the deal there?
I don't know. He pisses me off.
Okay, fair enough.
90 yards at the half last game. I bet him to hit 100, and then he had one target for the rest of the game and didn't hit above 90. It was awful.
Man. I mean, there's
Yeah.
these guys like Kelsey for me is one that I just have a vendetta against. Like I had a vendetta against Mark Andrews. Sometimes they just rub you the wrong way because you try to trust them and they let you down. But Kareem
Exactly.
Hunt has not let me down as of yet. He's not going to have any big explosive like 70, 80 yard run game, but 31.5 is a safe target for him. It's a line that he continues to hit.
All right. I think I'm ready to build this. So I like
Let's
Hunt.
build it.
I like Hunt. I like Worthy for the Chiefs side. Out of Montgomery, Gibbs, and Brown, who are the 2 that you like the most?
I think this, as you mentioned, this is the week that we should trust Amon-Ra to show a big Sunday Night Football, big stage. So I think we go with him. And then I'm going to give you your choice of your 2 babies. So you pick between Gibbs and Monty.
I was gonna just see like how have the Chiefs been versus the wide receiver one, and have they actually played a good wide receiver one
I
outside of
specifically
week
talked
one?
about this. They played Brian Thomas Jr., Quentin Johnson, and Zay Flowers. Those are the wide receiver ones that have exceeded 70 yards. I think if all
Yeah,
those
then
3 guys can do it,
yeah, I'll go with Brown. I'll go with Brown then. I like that. The thing that's bothering me the most is like I don't know, the Chiefs run like are been pretty decent against the run. Uh
true,
I don't know.
which is
The
which is
Ravens
why you
76, 48, and 42 between their three running backs, including Lamar, who's basically a running back. And then last week, ETN did not hit for us. I'm gonna go with I'm gonna go with Gibbs. We'll make it a receiving Lions and a rushing Chiefs parlay plus 1150 20 to win 250. And a reminder that is Xavier Worthy over 5.5 rushing yards, Jahmyr Gibbs over 27.5 receiving yards, Amon-Ra St. Brown over 69.5 receiving yards, and Kareem Hunt over 31.5 rushing yards. And that is our Sunday bet. All right, so unlike other weeks, we actually have some Monday night football lines, and more importantly, we have two Monday night football games. One featuring your favorite team, but that is the later game. So we're going to talk about that in a second. First, we're going to talk about the Bills Falcons. Who do you like in this game?
Uh, um, so yeah, I do think the Bills will be on a bit of a revenge tour after getting, knocked out by the Patriots. I think Josh Allen's gonna be pissed off in general. So I like a lot of rushing lines out of the Buffalo Bills, and we'll start with Josh Allen. Over 35.5 rushing yards. I don't think he's happy with how things went against the Patriots. The Falcons will be coming off of a bye week to try to prepare for this game, but you
Mhm.
can't really prepare for Josh Allen and what he can do when he scrambles or even when he has designed runs. So he's exceeded 35.5 3 games already this year. Like I said, I just think he's going to be kind of running angry, and his season opening, he'll probably take it. And they'll probably, the defense, I would think the Falcons should scheme up some stuff to try to take away some of the passing game. So I think they'll open some lanes for Josh Allen to go through and exploit him. So give me Josh Allen.
Yeah, that was on my list too. DraftKings has it even lower at 33.5. So definitely going to smash that.
Love an extra 2 yards to work with.
Absolutely. My next line, I think you're going to be on this one as well, going with wide receiver three, Josh Palmer, over 17.5 receiving yards. It's hit for us before, kind of leaning into, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. As you already said, they're on their kind of revenge tour following a loss to the Patriots. I really wasn't crazy about the rushing lines. Apparently, the Falcons are very good against the run. They haven't had a running back this season go over or eclipse 80 yards. So that's why I was going to avoid Cook again, even though I think he's going to have a strong game. So I like Allen because it's only 33.5, and then give me Palmer because I think Allen could be slinging the ball.
I mean, you're right. I was originally looking at lines for the passing game for the Bills, and Palmer was the one that I'd written down initially, but I deleted that. But just because he has some limited opportunities, I think he had like 2 catches. I mean, he only needs 2 catches to hit like a low line like that, but just because the volume's not there, I'm a little bit concerned. Just in general, it's kind of like asking somebody like Jahan Dotson to go through and get over 10 yards. We might only get 1 catch. Did it
Keeps
yesterday.
doing it though.
Did it yesterday. Yeah. So, it's 50-50 proposition. So I'm with you. It makes sense. Falcons against the run, I'm not overly concerned. I mean, when you talk about like 100-yard rushers or 80-yard rushers, the Commanders are my only real game that I watched play against that defense. We did have 147 yards on the ground against them. Just we run like 3 or 4
Over
different
like,
backs. Yeah.
yeah,
So
that's
it's
the
split up
thing.
amongst different people. The Bills only need one running back, and his name is James Cook. That's actually my next line. Is
Jesus Christ.
73.5 yards rushing. The Bills lost last week, and they lost specifically because they got away from what makes them good, and that is the rushing attack combo of James Cook and Josh Allen. Cook was coming off of 3 straight 100-yard performances. I'm going to say that again, 3 straight 100-yard performances for having just
Why we went with
49.
them.
He just had 49 against the Patriots. He got that game out of there, and I think that they're gonna acknowledge the fact that that was probably a mistake with their game plan. I look for him to get close to 20 attempts in this game. That's pretty similar to what Vegas has his rush attempts line at. Both the Commanders and the Panthers did have success because you can also look and see what Chuba Hubbard did to them. I think he had like a well over 100-yard game in that one. So they have had some success against the Falcons. They've been spotty, but love James Cook. I think he's one of the more consistent running backs in the NFL, and I think that's part of the let's get back to what makes this great strategy that the Bills will, try to employ against the Falcons this week.
Yeah, and you can find that line on DraftKings at 71.5. So I
Two
don't
yards
mind it.
better
I
every time.
I was gonna say I wish it would dip below 70, and then I would like really go for it. I mean, I think we still might, even though I had already said everything I said about
Going against
the
that.
Falcons
You were
going
right
against
on
them.
your math. You said 80 yards. I looked at like the Panthers. Chuba Hubbard had 73, but Rico Dowdle had 30, so they again went over 100 as a combo. So it's just no
Correct.
single running backs are going over it.
Yeah. Exactly. That's kinda oh, no, my 3rd pick, I only have 3 for this game.
Do
Bijan
better.
Robinson. I did my best, honestly. Bijan Robinson over 30.5. That's not true, I do have another one. Bijan Robinson over 30.5 receiving yards. He is a focal point of this receiving game now, and, you could see it from his past his past performances have been pretty electric in the receiving game. I know you hate running backs who can catch the ball. I know you're against them in so many ways.
I don't hate them. I just hate to bet on them doing it when we want them to because we can't predict when it's going to happen.
55, 39, 106. His line is 30.5. I like it.
Yeah, so I am quasi with you on this, and hear me out. I think that we could do the smart thing here. I've tried to look at Bijan lines like repeatedly and bet like, rushing or receiving. I can never predict which one they're going to lead on because he's had games where he's not very involved in the passing game and he crushes it running. His rushing receiving combo line is only 109.5. So since you can't really predict it, I'd rather have the combo 109. I think for him, it seems low. He's not gone under 111 yards all season as far as a combo. So he's beaten it every single time. And with a combo of 181 and 168 being 2 of those games. So Bijan is pretty much that offense. They finally got Drake London a little involved, but that was against my really shitty commander secondary. So they primarily run that offense through Bijan, either handing it off or through the air. So I like to just take his combo.
Does DraftKings have like a total yards during the game between both teams, like a combo one where you could be like over 900 total yards between everything, and you'll be like, oh my god, that number is so high, I need to bet on it.
I mean, I think they do have team, props that you could bet on as far as overall like yards. I'm not advocating for doing that.
Yeah, I'm not advocating for the total yard. I don't know if I've ever hit on a total yards.
Have you ever tried Bijan? Because if you had bet that at all
No.
this year, you would have hit 5 times or 4 times so far. They had a bye week.
Ugh.
I'm just
All
saying.
right,
Just
fine.
saying.
Fine, math. Fine.
Damn you and your stupid logic.
What else you got?
So I got the other guy that I just said only looked good because he played the Commanders, Drake London, in the receiving game. If the Falcons are going to have any success through the air, Kyle Pitts is usually good for 30-something yards, but Drake London, his line is set at 67.5. We did just see what Stephon Diggs was able to do against the Bills secondary. London did finally have that big game, albeit, like I said, against the Commanders. But yeah, their secondary has been inconsistent. 110 yards, 8 receptions, targeted 10 times by Penix, in that game. So I think they've had a week again to kind of look at the tape for where they could exploit the Bills, what Stephon Diggs was able to go through and do against them and scheme up ways to get in the ball and try to keep him involved because Drake London is a great wide receiver. That's why he was drafted, so high in a lot of fantasy leagues. So I expect them to try to work him more and more into the offense. So 67.5 is a little higher than I'd like to have his line, but coming off of the 110 yards and being targeted 10 times, I think, if he gets at least half those targets, he should still be able to go through and cross that one.
Why are there no Pitts lines? I can't find any Pitts lines.
I think there might be was there a slight injury designation potentially? I should know this because
I
I've got
don't
him in,
I
in
don't see
leagues.
one. Yeah.
Maybe they're just
I just
anti-pitch
don't
right
I'm
now.
not seeing him on DraftKings, which is making me a little upset
Uh,
because we bet on him in the past and he's actually been doing pretty good. I mean, he's good for like any like a minimum of 4 catches.
Yeah, no, I mean, for sure. He's been pretty consistently used. I mean, this is obviously the best season that he's had, thus far. I could try to dig in and see if I can find some lines on somewhere else, for Pitts, but I think whatever it was when I was looking for him, either he wasn't there and that's why I didn't have him initially within my research, or like his line was just a little bit too high. Anything in the 40s for him, I'm a little bit concerned about, but if it's in the 30s, then I think that's an easy play.
Yeah, or if his reception line's good. I'm gonna take your next one since you just went, and it's one I like as well. Is Dalton Kincaid over 38.5 receiving yards. I don't know what it was last year, but I feel like Kincaid kind of fell off a little bit. I always confuse him and Sam Laporta for whatever reason. So it could be that he did not fall off and it was Sam Laporta who fell off. But Kincaid has been super solid this year. For I think I expected more things from Keon Coleman just based on watching Hard Knocks, and I think he had like one pretty solid game. But other than that, he's been kind of quiet, consistent, but kind of quiet. Him and Shakir have kind of just like barely hit their numbers, if anything. Whereas Kincaid has kind of been way more consistent. He's averaging 57 and almost 57.5 receiving yards this season thus far. I do like Shakir as always. Again, neither of them have been like really popping off like I thought they were going to do.
No, I mean, well, first of all, it's not good to base anything off of a Netflix or HBO special. We realized that playing Joe Burrow a
Joe
lot
Burrow.
going off of quarterback was not a good decision for our futures because he's not in the plans
I
for the
will
season.
I will say that Kincaid does have an oblique injury, and he was limited in practice on Friday.
Well, that makes sense because he's coming off of his best performance of the year. Yeah, but my problem with trying to bet any of the Bills' receiving lines is really just they do spread the ball out. Nobody tends to have like a really huge game, so it's a tough one to kind of neck peg down. I did look at Kyle Pitts' line. I was able to find him in the 365 at 40.5, exactly like the number that would get me a little bit concerned. But
What was
he-
the receptions like?
receptions line, alternatively, is
While you're doing that,
I already got it
Shakir
3.5.
64. Ooh, I like that.
So he has had 4, 4, and no, he's had 7, 4, 4, and 5. So you could throw Kyle Pitts
Yeah,
in there.
I don't hate
Yeah.
it. I don't hate it. Do you have any other ones for this game?
No, no, no. Those are the 4 that I had. So our parlay for the first Monday Night Football game will be Mr. Consistent Kyle Pitts over 3.5 receptions. We will be taking Bijan Robinson, just his over receiving because Al is not confident. 29.5. We will take Josh Allen over 34.5 angry rushing yards. And then Josh Palmer over 19.5 receiving yards. It's a nice, even plus 1,200, 20 to win, $260.
Love it. Go to game 2 on Monday night.
Game 2. This is prime time. This is the marquee matchup. This is a revenge game for the Chicago Bears, who lost in the most heartbreaking of heartbreaking fashions last year to my Commanders on a Hail Mary. I could replay a lot of what that play call sounded like to have the Hail Mary and then caught. So with the game on the line, caught. It's it's amazing. One of the best games, one of the best experiences I had all last season. That being said, I expected to be more high scoring than it was last year. That was Jaden Daniels coming off of an injury that he had against the Panthers. He probably should not have been playing in this Bears game. He somehow managed to chuck that Hail Mary with a broken rib that he later revealed, which was not on the injury designation. So we will see what comes out, but I love a couple lines here because I've been talking about him. I'm going to start with him. I'm going to take Jaden Daniels over passing. His line is 218.5. Everybody has had well over that amount against the Bears secondary, as long as your name is not JJ McCarthy, who we know is not good at football right now, and then Geno Smith, who we know at least this year is very not good at football. Jane Daniels is, in fact, good at football. So I expect him to far exceed that, especially considering it's a duel, of the 1 and 2 picks, Caleb Williams versus Jane Daniels. I feel like it's actually going to come down more to the run game. But that being said, I still like Jane Daniels to air it out. I hit a couple of big throws. I would love to have Terry McLaurin in this one. Unfortunately, he's definitely going to be ruled out. So we'll be relying on Deebo Samuel as wide receiver 1 again. Maybe Luke McCaffrey catching a bomb again like he did against the Chargers. I'd love to see that. But either way, Jaden overpassing.
Love it. So I have one line from the Bears. We kind of trounce on this team on a weekly basis. We really don't like including them in our parlays, only when you mention going under on Caleb Williams passing. The only line I like is Zacchaeus over 26.5 receiving yards. I'm going for the revenge game angle. He was a former commander, as you well know. He was on your team. I liked him. He was always that guy when we were looking for him to throw to Deba or not him to throw to Terry. It was like or Ertz because we always put him in our parlays. It was Zacchaeus. I was like, God damn it! Why do we never put Zacchaeus?
Yeah, yeah. I love it. I love OZ. I've actually got him on my list too. I took his receptions line because it was only 2.5. He had 5 receptions last week, and he's gone over 2.5 receptions 3 out of 4 games so far this season. So much in the way that I like Kyle Pitts consistently catching the football. OZ is somebody that they do consistently look at in the Bears passing game as well. And I mean, his yards is probably fine, but I do think that they would try to get him involved. And I miss OZ on our Commanders offense, so I'm totally fine with including him. It's kind of like just another Commanders line, you know?
It is. It's basically having another commander's line. Who else you got?
So I'll stick with I actually had another Bears wide receiver, and it was another receptions line. Just we haven't played him since I think early maybe in the season because he's just been inconsistently used. But DJ Moore,
Yeah.
yeah, DJ Moore,
Ooh,
over 3.5 receptions. He should be like
that's so low.
it's so low, but I mean that is on par with kind of how he's been utilized in the offense as of late. They've been really, really, not consistently featuring him. Instead they've kind of spread the ball out a little bit more. So I'd like to see them go out and try to get DJ. Well, I don't want to see him because again, I want them to fail miserably. I want no completions. But if they're going to complete the pass, I could see DJ Moore getting involved like early and often, and maybe not just featuring Romadunze as they have tended to do. Romadunze's line was a little high. Otherwise, I probably would have gone with it for the yards. But DJ Moore over 3.5 receptions seems a little bit safer.
Love it. My next line, I'll save the best for last for you, but I like Jaden Daniels over 43.5 rushing yards. I know he's coming back from injury. I know he's only played a few games. He almost hit the number last week, and that was the first game back from injury. He's had more time to heal, and they've had more time to practice with him. So I think he'll use the legs more. He was kind of an auto play last year for us. I know this podcast didn't exist, but Daniels rushing was just something we kept going back to because it always it hit more times than not.
Yeah, he's definitely dangerous with his legs, and I could 100% see him going over the rushing line. 43.5 is a good number for him, especially, again, kind of similar to where he wants to show out a little bit. You can say it's just another game, but anytime you're going up against the guy that was drafted, number 1 over you, and it's a battle 1v2, you're going to want to show off any way you can. And the one thing Jaden definitely has an edge over, for Caleb, probably multiple things, but he definitely is a more dynamic runner. So, yeah, I could see him easily hitting that. And it does couple him with the fact that the Bears are, I believe, the worst, at least one of the worst teams against the run. So, that being said, my last line is Bill Krosky. Over 63.5 yards rushing seems like a lot for a guy that's really, you can't even necessarily say that he's like the RB1. They tend to try to say they don't have one, but after he came out and gave the performance that he gave last week against the Chargers, in the words of like Happy Gilmore, they've seen my power. There's no way they're going to dog me this game. So I feel like Bill Krosky is a safe play here. The Commanders, despite the fact that they're going to, I view it kind of as a Jaden Daniels type game, I think they're also going to lean very heavily into the run. Bill Krosky is the number 1 guy. Chris Rodriguez, who is another guy that they've featured some, is injured. I'm not sure if he's even going to play in this game, so that would kind of leave them with McNichols as the other back. And I don't think that their issue with Bill Kingsbury has come out and said is like he's still not great at pass protection, but I don't think that's something that's going to keep him off the field in this particular instance. Like Jaden Daniels doesn't necessarily need somebody to always be blocking, giving him extra time. He can take off the run, and that just lends itself to your line more so. So yeah, I love Bill Krosky here. He's coming after a 14 carry, 111 yards performance on the ground. I think, if he can do that, he could definitely do 63.5 against the worst run defense in the NFL.
He also had 39 receiving yards. Who said that? Who said that?
That's crazy. That came from the back room somewhere.
I
You know
mean, it
what?
might be a ghost here.
You know what? If he's really good at running and receiving, we could combo him. We could throw him in there with Bijan. Just do a combo total yards for Bijan.
Sorry, you broke up there. I couldn't hear you.
No, okay.
Um,
Convenient.
Yeah, very convenient. Yeah, I mean, I love Bill. It's just funny, like the way that our teams are so different is like we drafted Skattebo. We like knew that there was potential. As soon as he got that first touchdown during the I think it was the Dallas game, they're like, well, we're gonna just use Skattebo all the goddamn time now. And you guys had the complete opposite of you had a he had a Bill had a great game against the Giants, and you're like, let's not use him for 3 weeks.
True. To be fair, Tyrone Tracy did get injured, so you didn't really have another option at that point. Singletary, maybe.
I know it's just like you guys saw it, you struck gold, and you're like, let's bury the
Yeah.
gold.
Yeah, I mean,
Let's bury it back.
100%. Like, he's every time he touches the ball, I think he's probably I mean, there's probably somebody obscure that only has a couple of carries, but I would imagine, like, his average run total is 8.2, 4.3, 3.3, 6.7, 7.9. So he's averaging 6.6 yards every time he touches the ball. He's broken a 42-yarder, 27-yarder, 16-yarder. So, yeah, I mean, he's a dynamic player. I am very excited about him. He doesn't lead with his head like your boy does. He's not a wild man, but he's fun also, so I'm excited to have him.
Our favorite crayon eater. Yeah, I'm down. I like Bill. Do you have any more lines for this game? I'm sure you do, but
No, I mean, I love Debo Samuel, but he has a pretty high line because again, they're kind of having to lean on him because there is no Terry. So I could definitely utilize Debo. I'm sure I would utilize Debo, obviously, in one of the other million parlays that I try to put in for that Monday Night Football game, throwing all that boost out there. But for the purposes of this podcast, I think that's it for me.
all right. What do you like?
I love Bill. Bill, Bill, Bill. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I feel good about the 63.5 yards rushing from Bill. I love Jaden Daniels, obviously, either way you want to play him. So if you like his rushing more than you like his passing, totally fine with that.
I just think if your idea of the potential game script is we're going to lean on Bill and he breaks about 70 yards, is that also going to include two JD?
Yeah, I mean, potentially not. Obviously, no Terry hurts as far as like the deep ball goes. Noah Brown might be back for this game, but who knows? If it does take another Hail Mary, that's like 60 yards right there. But no, I'm fine. It feels like a lot of rushing yards for most quarterbacks, 43.5, but it is Jane Daniels, so I'm
It
good
is.
with it. I'm good with it. So let's just lean on the Commanders' rushing attack combo, Bill and Jaden. I like Zacchaeus, so
Me too.
would we
Do you
want
want to do, I was going to say, do you want to, if you want to include more, do you want both their receptions or one or the other? I
we
think
could
it's a lot of
yeah,
receptions.
it's a lot of receptions. We could take Zacchaeus over 26.5, and we could take DJ Moore over 3.5.
All right. So we have Bill over 67.5 rushing yards. We have Jaden Daniels over 43.5 rushing yards. We have DJ Moore over 3.5 receptions. And we have OZ over 26.5 receiving yards plus 1,140.
That we would normally end right here now, but there is one more segment that we did create that we probably forgot about.
Yeah,
We have the
that's
all-day
right.
parlay. We gotta do the all-day parlay for Sunday. So we are taking our favorite line from 1 PM, from 4 PM, and from Sunday Night Football, doing a 3-leg, not 4-leg parlay. It's just trying to it's probably not gonna work. It's just gonna be throwing more money away, but trying to give us our most confident lines in hopes to go through it and actually win something and kinda maybe hedge our bets a little bit and hope that we, get paid out enough to fund the week. So, do we have some favorites that we think we should go with from the 1 PM slate?
So you want these to be lines that are already included in these parlays.
Well, it'd be kinda weird not to be. I mean, because then there'd be something that we like more than everything else that we did not include. So I do
That's fair.
think we tend to, like, on average, we'll go 3 and 1 and, like, whatever. We'll just typically miss 1 each or sometimes miss 2 each, but we usually have, like, a couple that we're pretty confident on that do hit. It's hard to get 4 out of 1 slate of games, so the idea is if we only have to pick 1 out of each slate, we should be able to get that guy, right? Should
That's
should be
that's fair.
should be
All right. So what's your 1 o'clock?
So 1 PM, I mean, we could go with old reliable like Puka Nakua being over 8.5 receptions. I mean, that seems like kind of the obvious one, unless this is the day that he, decides to screw us over. But I think that's
Your reasoning for why it could potentially not hit was because of the Ravens being so bad that
Yeah.
that they might just put him in the dirt by the third quarter, and then he's gonna miss it by like one reception.
That is the potential. Now, again, we have also said that there's been plenty of games that he had, 8 plus receptions like at halftime. So there's the chance that he could be, exceeding that by a good bit. But I'm okay if there's somebody else that we feel more confident from that 1 p.m. slate. You're
No,
smiling at me.
I mean,
Okay.
no, I was just reading over our list again. I'll go Puka.
Yeah. Okay. I think that I think that makes sense. Like, this is probably going to be a list of like who are the people that we've leaned on the most that have never let us down. Let's throw them in a parlay and let them all let us down at once. So, Puka Nacua over at 8.5 receptions. I think the obvious one from the 4 p.m. slate would then have to be CMC over 49.5 receiving yards.
Yeah, I
I
was gonna
mean,
say him or Ibuka.
true, true. I'll let you go with either one, but I mean, CMC is the lower number.
So I was gonna say, should we add anytime touchdowns to this too of all of these guys?
Why, why are you trying to make us lose? You're like,
Always,
that sounds like a sound
always.
idea. Let's fuck that up. That's pretty much what
That's
we're
right.
going.
All right, CMC. His line has escalated a little bit because they officially announced no Pearsall. It's 52.5 now.
Doesn't really deter me, but yeah, that's just
No, it does not.
yeah. Okay. So then we got CMC, and then we just need Sunday Night Football. There's obviously, Amon-Ra, we are throwing out there for the first time in hopes that he comes through. I have some confidence in him. It feels like a lot to hedge like our whole livelihood on Xavier Worthy getting his 1 carry over the 5.5 rushing yards. There's Jahmyr Gibbs over 26.5 receiving yards, but you know how I feel, although he was one of my lines too. There's times where for whatever reason that's not utilized properly and he doesn't hit it, but I'd probably be on either Amon-Ra or Jahmyr Gibbs. Think
Yeah,
hard on this
I
out.
like either of them. I like either of them. I feel like these lines are going to only balloon as we get closer to Sunday. DraftKings has Amon-Ra at 72.5. We haven't checked any other books. I'm just going off these guys right now. So if we went Nacua receptions, CMC receiving yards, and Amon-Ra St. Brown receiving yards, it would be plus 618, 20 to win 143.73.
Just enough to cover our entire weekend, which is the plan.
Pretty much.
Yeah. Or to just add to our losses one way or the other. But I think that makes sense to me. The all-day parlay, I think, is going to be positive for us. I'm hoping that this is something that we can kind of carry forward. It'll be a post
It'll
that
be
you'll see it
such
on
a good
this.
jinx.
You'll see it on the socials, Instagram and Twitter as its own, separate post. So the all-day parlay is now a thing. We got a lot of stuff to add to the socials I'm excited about. To throw his first never again player out there, which I fully support. So we'll get to have another name out there. Yeah, good. I'm looking forward to a fun week 6, hopefully. You already got your
Me too.
win to start this off, man. You're on cloud 9 from the Giants knocking off the Eagles. Love that for you. I hope that my Commanders being the very last game of the week ends on a positive for me. And this could just be, let's win some money. Let's win some games. Let's have some fun. Football is fun. Let's do it.
We're having fun.
This is fun. We're having fun.
Exactly. Since my voice is obviously destroyed, would you like to take us out?
Yeah, so essentially just as Al would normally say in this instance, follow us on our social medias at Don't Tail This on Instagram and Twitter. Please go through and comment, go through and copy our bets. We would love to have you actually tail despite the fact that we tell you not to. If you do fade us, go through and let us know. If you tail us, let us know. Either way, we've had a couple people actually go through and use that little AI feature where you can go through and copy a bet, which is cool. We didn't hit that, so they'll probably never be back, but whatever. They might have been doing it strictly to fade us, so maybe that was the case. Yeah, we're getting a few comments out there, but would love some more interactions. We'll shout you out if you shout us out, etc. Yeah, we're looking forward to this. We're looking forward to coming through and coming out with a win. So for Al and for myself, yeah, as always,
Don't tell this.
Don't Tail This is produced by Al Manarino and Ben Berkeson. Edited by Al Manarino. Theme song by Lucas Jones. Follow Don't Tail This on Instagram and Twitter at Don't Tail This. We are committed to responsible gaming. Please visit www.rg-help.com to learn more about the resources and helplines available. Never bet more than you can afford to lose. And always bet responsibly, which of course means don't tail this.